Konnichiwa. I thought that I would start this one off the right way, with a proper greeting. We're going to be talking about a lot of Japanese-oriented material in this episode. Miah is with me in episode 18, and this will no longer be known as An Hour with Domino. Hello, Miah.
Hello. I'm here to be on this auspicious occasion.
Yes, I have officially decided that the name of my podcast was going to be now About an Hour with Domino.
Told ya.
Miah said it often and said it enough that it just kind of sticks, and considering the fact that most episodes are either less than an hour or over an hour, it's about an hour. I mean, an hour or two. You never know.
It's all about cleverness.
I thought of many different titles. I almost thought of calling it The Domino Show, but you said it sounds a little basic.
Mm-hmm.
And that is true. And so I figured, let's just go with About an Hour with Domino, because it won't stray too far away from the original title. People shouldn't get too confused.
Getting jiggy with Domino.
You said another one earlier.
What was it? A combo with Domino?
No,
was that the one?
No,
it was another
no.
one?
It was another one.
Oh, an inappropriate one, probably, I said.
You can say inappropriate things on here. This is not monetized.
I don't remember what it was. It was something about giving blowjobs or something. I don't know. Giving blowjobs to Domino or something.
Well, everyone, I hope you're all doing okay. I know it's been a while since I've done an episode. The reason for that is actually not just one reason, it's several reasons. We were busy throughout most of the summer. It is now in the middle of autumn. I know it feels like winter to some of you out there, depending on where you live, but it is still autumn. I did writing off and on throughout the year. I've started some new books, and I continued on with some books in progress that I've been doing. Don't have anything ready for publication just yet, and I may not this year. Sometimes it's just like that. But I've already come to the terms with the fact that I have actually done progress in my work this year, so that's good. I think Miah would agree.
Yes. Actually, curating, I think is the term, is just as important as actually writing, getting things in order.
Yes. Even with the Power of the Gods series, which has been in progress for a little while, and will be for a while, considering the length of the entire story I want to tell with it, I was even doing character notes with that, and I changed a few things according to how I want the flow to go, and yeah.
God, how many changes do you think there's been in Power of the Gods? Like, and this could be a good study of what it is to be a writer in general, where things start and you have time to reflect on them and change something. Like
Several.
All right.
Well, not just to generalize it, just to several. A lot of in-depth changes, character changes, backstory changes, some stuff added, some new stuff. New characters definitely have come to light, either in my mind or just as I've gone through it. A long time ago, I was going to write this book called The Special Five, and there was a concept with it, and it was about these 5 teenagers, and I won't go into too much detail because it would actually give away some of the future plot to the Power of the Gods, but I kind of scrapped it for a little while, and one of my sisters would probably remember it because she read a little of it, at least what I had of it, but that's been completely tossed now, except for some character names. And I redeveloped all of it, and I added it to the Power of the Gods series, and it actually fits very well, and the story goes with it even better, and it's essentially become a part of that. So just even hearing that, like, I've had ideas for stories that I thought were going to be separate stories, and then I realized, no, this is part of this world, without even realizing it yet. You know that one of my characters, even though I have not introduced him yet, he came to me in a dream when I was 16 years old. I didn't know who he was then, but there's a very iconic scene that I've already kind of created, and it was in my dream, and now it's going to be part of his story later.
It is very strange to know, and I think I may have mentioned this on another podcast once, that this character of yours has been a part of my life as long as I've known you, nearly a decade.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so strange. I think about it, and the world doesn't know about it yet. Like,
yeah.
it's a very strange that it's just such common conversation when talking about your writing and your stories. And then I realize, like, wow, that character hasn't even been introduced yet. Like, if I talked about it,
several of my characters that haven't.
If I talked about it a lot, I would spoil it, is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
If I talked about your writing to another person, there would be a point where they'd be like, wait, what the hell are you talking about? And I'd be, oh shoot, we haven't revealed that yet. All right.
Yeah.
Forget I said anything.
There's been times when I feel like talking about in depth some of my characters or my work, and I can't do it with everyone because either I don't want them to know everything yet, or I would have to explain so much.
Yeah.
And it's not completely like that with you because you already know so much.
Yeah. Had to start from somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's not like you just took the time to tell me everything. I discovered some things along with you, is the thing.
Yeah, that's also a rare thing. Not very many people can say that. And that's been kind of like a little highlight of what we've been doing. We were preparing for a very important trip most of the year.
Yes.
And also, we'll get into talking about it a little bit later. We saw some very good movies this year throughout the summer as well.
Mm-hmm.
The beginning of summer, middle of summer, and toward the end. I realized I haven't touched upon those. One of the other reasons, I always said there were various reasons that I haven't done an episode in a while, is YouTube issues with music. I like featuring music in my podcast, music that I like. And obviously a lot of people have issues with that in the YouTube. Not listeners, but YouTube.
Creators.
Yeah. They have issues with stuff that they want to share in their content, and it's not like we're trying to claim them or anything. It's just, the copyright issues.
Just be thankful you don't talk about Nintendo a lot.
Yeah.
Because you would have nothing on your channel.
Aside from Pokemon. I've mentioned Pokemon a lot, but...
Yeah.
But it's just talking about it.
Sometimes that's enough right there.
Mm.
You delve into the Super Mario world and stuff like that, forget it.
Well, like I've also mentioned before, my show is not monetized. It doesn't earn any money, so maybe that's another reason they see that I'm literally making nothing from it. They kind of see it as a little vanity project or something.
We do it because we love you.
My channel, Domino Punky Heart, I'm not really sure what I want to do with it in the future. I know it's kind of housing my podcast occasionally right now. I would like to actually upload more AMVs eventually, but again, with the music problem.
Yeah, that's a whole dead community there that didn't die out of popularity. It died because it was murdered.
Mm-hmm.
It was murdered. It was a murdered community that...
Yeah.
got taken care of.
And I'm not trying to say that I was some big YouTube celebrity or anything, but the AMVs I did once create, a lot of people liked them, and I used to get positive comments on them, and I liked that.
Mm.
But all that's gone, and I still create AMVs only occasionally when the mood strikes me. I have a few ideas for some new ones, actually, just within the last few weeks, and I've made notes for them. I thought about actually re-editing some of my older ones, making them look a little bit better with the not movie, but with editing software knowledge that I have now, a little bit more than what I used to. So I may do that.
Can you believe there was ever a time YouTube was like a social media site where there were actually clubs and things?
They don't want that anymore. It's like somebody got in charge of YouTube and just decided, I don't want this.
There was no money in it. There was just no money in it. And YouTube's never made a dime for Google, really. So they need to figure out some kind of way to make it profitable. That's why now they're trying to be like Netflix and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And starting to give up on that, too. They will be giving up on that soon enough.
Most of the highlight of this episode, I feel, is going to be all about our recent trip that we had.
That we were planning from maybe...
Since March? Or February?
Yeah, probably like spring, beginning of spring. So we missed out on seeing LM.C. I think it was last year or was it the year before. They went to TechoCon. I don't remember that.
In
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it was TechoCon in Pittsburgh.
And we had considered going, and I think it was because we had already kind of planned our vacation going to Wilmington.
Yeah, that was already planned, and also, in order to get a really good experience, all of that was sold out.
That's true.
We heard about it a little bit late.
Yeah. So, the news had popped up that they were going to be appearing at Anime Week in Atlanta, which is a 4-day convention based out of Atlanta. It's been going on 20 years. I think it was 19th year today. Or this year, I think. We're not regulars. It would be our first AWA. Not our first con, but first AWA.
Yeah, we've been to quite a few cons already. But,
yeah. And this was one of the higher scale ones, not just because it was longer, 4 days, but because, a lot more production value in it. A lot more
people. Yeah.
A lot more guests. A lot more money delved into it from the con owners and runners. And one of the big things about AWA now is that they have not just guests in the anime world, but they have guests in the music world. So they invited LM.C, and they accepted, and as soon as it was available, which I don't even remember when it was available. It must have been sometime during the summer. But I said, let's do it. We're going to make this our fall getaway, and we're going to go see LM.C. And all they offered at the time were VIP passes. Let it be known right now, I'm not in the know, and I'm not in any type of fan club for LM.C. I'm not in any Reddits or Discord groups or anything like that. So it's completely over my head how these VIP experiences work. I have no clue what they have planned, and of course it doesn't help that this con in particular gave no information at all about what was going to be going on.
Yeah, by the way, that's the only downside to the trip, I feel, is that they did not have very much organization, and a lot of guests were complaining about it.
There were a lot of technicalities that made things inconvenient, that it was just these little tiny henpecking things that just kind of made everything, that made, not everything, but made for bad experience. Little things like they completely relied on an app this year for scheduling, and it was the night of Wednesday night, the app shut down. The app just completely just bit the shit. And we had to just guess what we were doing the next day because everything was still being updated. From that very hour, everything was still being updated. Not to mention that VIP was still jumping back and forth as to who was going where and what was doing what. And we kind of, I think at 0 hour, just decided, we're here to see LM.C more than anything. We did cosplay, but we're here to see LM.C more than anything. It'd be nice to attend some panels. It would be nice to support panels and support, projects and conversations and, be a part of the con experience we've always been a part of. Their scheduling made it impossible. Like, for someone who's not used to an AWA, for somebody who has no connections, no friends, no fan club get-togethers or anything, we were screwed. We didn't know what we were getting into.
We talked with this one girl, she was from New Hampshire, and she actually mentioned that the schedule was a little bit better this year, unlike the year before. So, they've had this problem before.
That'd be interesting to know what... Like, just imagine, I bet they didn't even have an app that year. I bet they didn't even have an app. So, they were probably just announcing one thing at a time over, like, Discord or something. And... But we went in there completely blind, and we just said, and there was even information booths and stuff, and they didn't know what was going on. They just said, I guess it's happening here, and because of that, and kind of jumping ahead here, we did miss one part of our VIP club meetup.
Thankfully, it didn't really take too much away from our experience of everything. Our VIP experience was very rewarding, I felt.
It was rewarding. It was costly, but it was rewarding. Which, just being somebody who works for every penny I spend, I think that is all the main reason that it got way under my skin that we missed that one part of a VIP session was just that, that's money right there. Like, yes, it's great to meet somebody, but also I do want my money's worth. And I don't like the idea of spending money on something and not getting to experience what I paid for. But our other experiences more than made up for it. I'm sure there was a lot of people who spent the exact same amount, if not more, than us and didn't get to experience as much as we did. To them, my heart goes out to them. But, yeah.
All in all, though, I very much did love this trip, and it just so happened to fall on the anniversary of when Miah engaged to me.
Yes, that's true.
Last year, on October 25th, Miah proposed to me, and we went to this convention to see... it's one of Miah's favorite J-rock bands, but is ultimately my favorite J-rock band, LM.C. I introduced LM.C to him. And
I probably saw them here and there in my MySpace days. My main thing was Antique Cafe, though, or An Cafe.
And you introduced them to me.
Yeah.
So, you also introduced Arlequin to me, which I've been growing more fond of lately.
I think Danny, your friend Danny, introduced you to Versailles, though, right?
Yes, Versailles and also LM.C.
Oh, okay.
LM.C, when I first knew them, both Miah and IG, yes, the lead singer his name is Miah, just like my Miah, but spelled differently.
Yes. I didn't get a chance to tell Miah that. My name's Miah, too.
I don't know if he would have believed you. Yeah. Maybe. He did like you, though. I know he did.
He liked my piercings. He actually said, "Oh, it's sharp. I love those." Because I had my spikes in, my big long, like inch-long spikes. I have snake bite piercings, if anybody's wondering.
Both Miah and IG interacted with us a lot, actually, during our experience.
I guess we can kind of explain like what happened with the VIP initially. Like, it was Halloween night was our first night.
Mm-hmm.
It was Thursday, and they were doing a photo shoot for their old gimmick, the Mad LM.C.
Yeah, the Mad LM.C, which we
which is just them in spooky costumes.
Yeah, they were in spooky costumes. Yeah. And at first I didn't know what that was going to entail, and we all got in our VIP line, and we walked in, and like, I didn't know where to go when I first walked into the room. First I saw like their bodyguards and all the people that worked for them, because Miah himself is the owner of LM.C, which stands for lovelymokochang.com.
Mm-hmm.
IG actually, when he met IG, he came a little bit later after Miah actually invented the band, and then they just developed it together,
Mm-hmm.
and they became friends. Miah is actually the head producer of his own band too, so he's got all these people working for him. And when I first walked into the room, like I didn't know where to look, and then they started to usher me off to the side, and then it was like, right there was Miah and IG sitting in these two chairs, and in the middle was an empty chair, and they told me to go sit with them. And I couldn't say anything. I didn't know what to say. I was very much surprised and starstruck, and I went and sat right between them, and then they took our picture on a checky, is what it's called, a little Polaroid, and they're very popular in Japan, with especially with musicians. And Miah thanked me. He gave me some candy, and IG gave me the checky picture. I loved that IG was wearing his eye patch that night. And I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know if I could stay longer or not, or if I was to leave. But I said bye to them, and you pretty much had the same experience, right?
Pretty much. I could definitely see how some people would be very dissatisfied with the experience. But like, I've seen worse. That's what I want to send home to anybody who were to hear that and say, so you spent like 30 seconds with this band and you're starstruck over that. And the truth is,
understand how it all works, the culture and everything.
Yes, and as well as I've seen worse.
Yeah.
I have actually seen worse. And it's even on, you can actually watch videos of it, of like these rappers and things like that who do VIPs, and like literally they usher you in and they're behind a sheet and they're like, all right, look at the camera, all right, bye, and then they just walk away, and it
don't even interact with you at all.
Yeah.
Miah and IG both thanked me and said hello and goodbye to me, and
so
waved at me. And
here's how I recall the experience. So we're in line. Big, long... Well, I would say there was about... And this was something only for VIP, too.
Mm-hmm. We were a part of the VIP package.
So there was close to maybe about 20 VIPs. And they were all talking amongst themselves. I do believe they all knew each other, and they were all friends from like Discord and Twitter and things like that. And
well, there were some. There was even like the mother and the daughters who were from Japan.
And you see that, I think that's the only reason they were isolated from the rest of everybody, just because of the language barrier. I think that was the only reason. I think everyone else. And also, I would like to also point out there were other males too. It was not just me and Domino.
Yeah, there were actually quite a few male fans there,
and no, they were not drugged there by their girlfriends.
No,
they were starstruck as well.
Yeah, some of them liked Maya's legs.
Anyway,
I'm talking about Miah, not Miah.
Yes. Although later on, I did see, like on Twitter, like some girls were pointing out that I was dressed like Duke Devlin, and they were very proud of me, and that I had great taste.
We'll get into our cosplays soon too.
But yeah, I was dressed like Duke Devlin when I met LM.C for the first time.
Let's make it on a point that the first time we met LM.C, we were in cosplay, and so was some other people, but not everyone.
Yeah.
And we thought, I guess this will be okay because LM.C were also dressed up for Halloween as well. So I was my original character, Domino Valentine, who is he's from the Pokemon world, for one thing. So I was wearing a Team Rocket uniform, and I had my white wig on and my reflective sunglasses and Neko ears.
And a bayonet.
And I was holding my bayonet, which, by the way, Miah liked my bayonet. Because when I first came over, he pointed at my bayonet, and I swore he said, "I like." And so I think he liked what I was dressed up as. And I sat down with him, and I wanted to say much more, and I was so glad that we were able to actually meet up with them again, and we were so close to them in the concert.
Well, I still haven't told my story.
Yeah,
so.
we're gonna get to everything.
Well, we were waiting in line. I was second and you were third in line. There was a lady in front of us.
Yeah.
And it was all just off to the side of the con, just about inside of a little tiny meeting room. And we were all standing outside the door, and they started calling in one person at a time. And as you said, when you go in, it's just this small little meeting room in the hotel, and there was a backdrop with like spider webs on it, and there was several Japanese people who were like the curators of the event. They were like the handlers, and cameraman, and a few people who spoke English there, who were more than likely the con producers and runners. And when I walked in, there's Miah and IG, as you said, sitting in chairs. And they usher us over, and I looked at IG. I never once looked Miah in the face at this point. I never did. I walked right over to him. I was just mostly looking like at his legs. He had these little leggings on, like these little wrap up leggings.
Yeah.
And I did something I shouldn't have done. I do think it was against policy. They didn't put anything up at the time as a thing, so I didn't know.
And you weren't corrected, so maybe they would just let it slide.
I reached directly into his lap where his hands were, millimeters from his little Miah, and I didn't mean to. I wasn't like that. It wasn't. And I grabbed his hands and I shook them like, and I could hear him go, oh, like that when I grabbed his hands. And I was like, thank you very much. It's wonderful to meet you. And I sat down between them, and you could see on my face I'm starstruck in the photo when they took a picture of it. And you know what? I'm making the OK sign with my fingers, if you notice. Because the camera operator did the OK symbol at me like that, and
yes,
I thought
he did that too.
I thought he was saying, "Okay, is everything okay?" And I went, "It's okay," like that, and that's when he took the picture. So I'm making what is apparently now recently has become the white supremacy sign. The OK symbol has now been declared the white supremacy sign. I don't know. It's code. It's code amongst white supremacists.
Well, nobody will ever see the picture but us, because we're the only ones who own it anyway. So.
Yes, and also a Japanese camera operator made it to me, and that's why I did it, okay? So don't get mad at me if you ever see it.
It could mean something completely different in Japanese, just like the peace symbol.
Anyway, IG gives me the candy. I stand up, and I do a quick bow, thank you very much, and as I'm walking away, IG's handing me the picture. He's like, hold on, like that, and I grab it, and they chuckle and laugh, and I get shuffled out of the room real quick. I was so nervous I didn't take any of it in, other than that I almost grabbed Mia's Ochinchin, and that I didn't look him in the eye, and I made a white supremacy symbol. But I stood outside the door. The lady who was in front of us was gone already. She was there with a partner of hers, and they had walked away already.
Yeah.
And I was just there in the hallway by myself, just waiting. And from the area, they ushered me through a back door of the room, which led to kind of like a dark little hallway in the hotel.
Yeah, like a subsection of hallway there, because where they were, this room was like in the middle of a large hallway almost. It's like they were well protected though. And
maybe about 45 seconds later, you came out.
Yeah.
And you were very happy. I remember you were smiling, and I asked you how was everything, blah, blah, blah. You told me your story and everything.
The only thing I regret about it is that I did not take off my reflective sunglasses, because I wanted them to see me, and I was just too awe-inspired by seeing them so close. Like, I knew I was going to see them, but I didn't know I was going to sit right next to them and everything.
Thigh to thigh.
Yeah. I had only dreamed about sitting next to Miah and IG back in... Because I've known about them since 2008. That's how long I've followed them. Their band has been formed since 2006. They've been around for a while. Visual K bands usually don't last that long. That's how you know that they are a rare exception in this music scene.
Where visual K bands are breaking up every day and another one forms in its place.
And we'll get to this later on too, but, you know, even Miah himself said he wants LMC to go as long as it can to make everybody happy and form our little family.
So we're sitting in a dark hallway, just talking to ourselves and like, wow, and we're looking at our undeveloped little checkies they handed us. And slowly but surely, everybody starts filing out of this room. As they're doing their pictures, they get moved out, Pretty soon, there's about 15 people all gathered in this hallway, and they're all sharing their experience, and they're all, like, starstruck and, you know, patting their chests and like, oh, my God. Did you see his eyes? Did you see his shoes? Did you see his nails?
Yeah.
None of them said, did you get to hold his hand? I got to hold Maya's hand. You didn't. But
I wish I would have been able to hold Maya's hand. Like, even in the other two meetups we had, I got to hold IG's hand. Though.
Yeah, we got to shake. IG was shaking hands. But that's for another story. So I think this is where we kind of cemented ourselves inside of this potential group of friends that never happened, was when everybody was sharing their pictures, everybody was sharing, and then one girl turns to us and she says, so you guys are just standing there not sharing, but how was it? How was it?
Yeah. And I explained how I never took off my damn sunglasses.
I explained I didn't look Miah in the eyes. I explained shaking his hand, showed the picture, and you could see how starstruck I was, and
the thing is, though, it made us feel very inclusive.
For a brief moment in time, there was this camaraderie, because we all knew why we were there.
We all knew why we were waiting, too. We were waiting for them to come out of the room so we could see them again.
Yeah, there was a few people saying, like, so why are we in this hallway? And nobody would answer. They're just like, shh. They're like, we know why we're here.
LMC somehow snuck out, though.
Yeah, they snuck out, and we saw them kind of walking away further out in the hallway.
They were going up to their rooms, obviously.
And they were like, oh, there they go. And it's like, oh, you can see Maya's big hat he was wearing.
Yeah, he was wearing a, I'm not sure what kind of hat.
A little wide brim hat.
Yeah, a little wide brim hat, but...
Sadie, stop it. She's playing for rapper.
Yeah, Sadie's being a mischievous cat.
Okay. So, that was... So, pretty soon everybody got shuffled out. So, early into knowing that we were going to be having this experience, I had kind of decided, I'm not going to wear cosplays probably. Like, we're probably only going to wear cosplays on the days we're not seeing LMC.
Yeah.
Nowhere did we know we were going to be seeing LMC every day.
Yes, this whole experience. Later we found out that LMC actually planned to do an event for every single day here.
Mm-hmm.
It was all based around Halloween and the following days. They wanted to make the most out of their trip and for the fans. So the VIP pass allowed us to have certain special events every single day.
Mm-hmm. And so that meant not only was I going to be seeing LM.C dressed as Duke Devlin, but at some point I would be seeing LM.C dressed as Orochimaru, one of my main cosplays.
Yeah.
And I will tell you the truth, hon, there was a point where I was saying, I don't think I want to see them dressed like this. And
well,
that
did. We'll get to that.
And I did
part.
become notorious for that, as I found out on Twitter, a girl did point out, I can't believe this guy's dressed like Orochimaru meeting LM.C. I was one of the only people at the final meeting who was in cosplay.
Well, I was too. I was wearing my Konkuro cosplay, but don't worry, we'll get to that.
But
it didn't bother anybody else.
The second day
was the concert.
Second day was the concert, that's right. And for that day, we was the second day of the concert?
Yes.
What was the third day? We'll get to that then. The second day was the concert.
I remember everything, don't worry.
And basically we got there a little bit later. The concert started at 7 o'clock, I believe.
We were already waiting, though, in our VIP line for an hour.
Yeah, we waited there a long time, and there were people there already, is the thing, so they were ahead of us. So I think if we ever do this again, that's going to be the trick, is you got to get there early. But let it be said that even though we were a little bit late, we got probably the best seats in the house.
Yeah, they allowed the VIP line to go in first and stand right up against the stage.
Mm-hmm.
Where literally they would perform within just a few feet in front of us.
Like 4 feet, I would say, at the very least 4 feet in front of us.
So it's literally like they were singing to just us.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it felt, anyway. It felt like everybody who was in the VIP spot... of course, we had like hundreds of people that filled in later, but to me it felt like, it's so much more personal where we were, and I felt so connected there with them. And I have to say that I know you've been to a few concerts already, Miah, but this was my very first one, and I don't consider myself, a person who obviously is very social or has done very many big crowd things in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I felt a part of this.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was a part of this for once. Like I was included, that other people were there because they liked the same thing I did. It's how I feel when I go to anime conventions too. Like, I'm surrounded by people that at least most of them like something that I do. And that's why I have such a good feeling when I'm here with this, and I feel a little sad when we go home.
Yeah, there's that post-con depression a lot of people talk about. And I think that is something people have brought up. You feel a camaraderie, and...
I'm a very unique person, and I haven't really had very many group gatherings or very many group friendships or anything in my life at all, really.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a very dreamlike experience for me. Walking into the huge area where they performed and just seeing the big LM.C letters lit up in purple and blue and white, and it was like walking into a dream sequence that for a moment you had to kind of let it sink in.
Mm-hmm.
For me anyway, I had to let it sink in because it wasn't happening too fast. It's just it almost didn't seem real.
Mm-hmm.
But it was. And I loved Maya's outfit.
So
if there was ever a time when he was very schmexy.
So we had been planning this event for better half of a year, and in my mind's eye, there was always this reoccurring image of what it would be like. I didn't know the stage would have like a little runway center to it. Sort of what I always call the Blues Brothers stage, because it's kind of what they performed on in
LM.C don't stand still. They move around when they perform.
This was not a rectangular stage. It was a rectangular stage with with a runway jetting out of it. So literally he can almost step into the audience just about. And we're right on the corner. We are right on the corner of this runway, so we can look straight up at the performance and like have nothing in our way but a cameraman, and he was never in our way really.
No, he had to move around to keep up with them, because both these boys are extremely energetic. And as their music is too, their music is very energetic, and I love it. I loved feeling it. I mean, it's one thing to listen to music, and to be there and actually feel it moving through the floors, through the wall, through the crowd, and through your body is completely different.
Not nearly as loud as I thought it was going to be. I've been to very, very loud concerts.
I thought the volume was perfect, though.
Yeah, it was good. Technical difficulties at the beginning.
But they made a joke out of that.
They handled it perfectly.
Yeah.
There are some situations where, like, it stops the show and the whole audience, the night's ruined now because of this.
Miah did not want the show to end. He handled it perfectly.
I love, I love Danzig. That's a musician I love, but when something goes wrong on his show, he loses it, and it ruins it for the whole show. He starts breaking stuff and throwing things and like getting mad at the producers and yelling at the stage hands and stuff. Like, this was handled so in character is the thing. They didn't break character. They didn't act like prima donnas. It was perfect.
I loved it when
how
they
you
were...
should always handle something like that.
Yeah, when they were fixing... Because their opening song was Ghost Heart, of course, to fit the Halloween theme. And I loved how their ending theme was Punky Heart, of course. Two very popular songs that they're very much known for. I loved every single song that they performed. I was so happy to hear so many of their ones that I love, like... The Buddha was excellent to hear that live, and Chameleon Dance, and Rock the LM.C.
It was in no way the playlist people said it was going to be. People were passing around playlists on Spotify saying this is probably what they're going to play. They played this recently in Taiwan. They recently played this in Tokyo.
If anything, they wanted to play what we wanted to have them.
It was like a greatest hits concert.
Yeah, Miah literally walked up to fans and said, "What do you want to hear next?"
Yeah, and if somebody here's the thing. Okay, the setup, and this is kind of a technical thing. The setup was only a 3-person setup. We had a drummer, they had guitarist IG, and they had the singer Miah, and everything else was on playback, which means they were playing. Probably from a laptop or a computer, an MP3 going into the PA system.
Which does not take away from the experience.
They didn't have a bassist, they didn't have synthesizer player, nothing. So I thought, like, for something like that, they obviously have like a stagehand or something doing it. I actually believe Miah was controlling everything with foot pedals.
Yeah, he kept walking over to that.
He had
before
foot
every
pedals.
song he would set up something, but it was all done so perfectly, and it was almost ingenious how quickly he could do everything. Because like before every song, like the one girl, she requested play "Oh My Juliet." As soon as she said those words on the back screen that performed everything, the words of the song came up. And then that was before the music you even heard, before they even started playing, so they had everything ready. I bet they had every single song programmed into that television thing to start up immediately. They did it also with Funny Phantom, which that was excellent as well when everyone performed it and we all were singing it together and everything.
I think that his foot switch was controlling not only the music, but it was controlling the projector. So it was like a whole house control at his feet. So I would have to look. It's probably something from I think the company Chavette, I believe. They make a lot of PA equipment and stuff like that that can be foot switched and stuff. So
if anything, it could just be very much ingenious Japanese technology that they don't use here.
Ancient Japanese secret. But yeah, like I think at one point I felt Miah's sweat hit my arms. So they were that close that they could just move around.
He interacted with us quite a lot.
Oh yes,
too.
he made sure to sing to anyone in the front row to make sure they got their money's worth.
Yes.
And he sang directly in our face, and it was...
And IG would come and perform in front of you, too. He kept moving around to every spot to make sure everyone saw him, and... Yeah.
No amplifier for IG. I believe he was running out of either... He was either using plugins, like running out of a computer, or he was using something like Line 6, but it was like a rack mount Line 6 and not a foot switch. But he had a real cabinet, a real 4x4 Marshall, it looked like. But yeah, they were running wireless, completely wireless, so they could move around as much as they wanted to. But their outfits, their costumes, I had a feeling they were going to wear those costumes. I had a feeling.
Yeah, because they've been promoting them, and we also later found out that it is actually Maya's favorite outfit.
Yeah.
He likes this one the most.
And it's very nice. It's very revealing.
Yeah, it's actually the most revealing I've ever seen him.
Yeah.
I'd have to say. He usually wears a lot to cover him.
For anybody who's listening to this, like, you have to kind of understand that we are kind of old school J-rock fans in the sense that we remember when it was real. And by which I mean, like, oh God, can I go a single podcast without bringing up professional wrestling? it's like...
Fine, this is my podcast, I don't care.
It's like when you're a little kid and wrestling is real. It's real. These characters are real. The Undertaker is really a living, dead zombie who works out of a graveyard, and, you know... But then when you get older, you realize, oh, they're characters. They're just fake. They're characters, and you should appreciate the act they're putting on more than the character, you know? And nowadays in professional wrestling, people immediately go into it believing it's a character. 8-year-olds know wrestling is fake now. So...
It's all just a performance.
The same goes for things like J-Rock. They in Visual K. A brand new Visual K fan knows that the majority of Visual K guys are not homosexuals, and they're not cross-dressers 24 hours a day, and they're...
Some are,
and and that they are playing characters. They know that Mana is not a vampire, or Kamijo is not a vampire.
He could be. You never know.
But for us, when we started listening to Visual K and J-Rock in the late 2000s, it was very possible that and Cafe were all gay. That Bo was a 24 hours a day cross-dresser who was in love with the lead singer, and they, you know, they were playing, realistically, they were playing characters. If you want to look at it the most, you know, grown-up way possible.
Isn't Bo gay, though?
No, he's probably not gay. That's the thing, you don't know. In Visual K, they keep that to themselves. It's part of the allure. You don't know about their personal lives. You don't know that Miah could have 3 kids and be married, you know?
Miah could be bisexual. Even.
You don't know. You don't know. But
I know that he pretty much writes a lot of the songs. I mean, IG writes a few of them too, but yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is, when we were growing up, we, you know, yes, Miah and IG are together. Yes, yes. Hazaki and Kamijo are actually married and stuff like that. And yes, Bo is 24 hours a day. He's a crossdresser, and Mana is a vampire gothic Lolita and all this. And
we even talked about because we were saying Miah and IG, they're right upstairs on that top floor.
In the same room.
They're staying together.
They're the same room.
They're in the same room.
They ordered some champagne and everything, and they're in the little heart-shaped hot tub. So stupid.
We don't know for sure,
but that's the fun. That was the fun of Visual K and J-Rock, was that you got to embrace these characters and stuff. And nowadays, you go directly, you discover Visual K, and you immediately know, oh, okay, they're characters. Immediately. There's none of that allure anymore. And believe it or not, it went to K-pop. There's so many little girls who love K-pop, and they truly 100% believe that these boys are just little lost puppy dogs who just want to perform, and they love
the K-pop scene.
Love the music, and they love each other, and they live together in the same house, and they have Christmas together under the tree, and all that. And then meanwhile, a video comes out of one of their managers smacking them in the face and stuff like that, because they messed up a dance move or something. Yeah,
the K-pop scene is completely messed up.
Brutal. It's
so much more respectable in Japan.
There are some stories of Japan having some brutal managers and stuff, but for the most part, J-Rock is still just, guys who were good at music in school, and they said, let's start a band together and we can come up with these characters and have fun until we get a little bit older, and then we gotta drop out of it and run our family shop or something.
I have to say though, real quick, that the story that Miah told all the fans about how he met IG sounded like a yaoi. The way they both went to the same concert, and he said the first time I saw him, he was smoking a cigarette, and he just walked up beside him, and he's like the seme that just walks up with the cigarette, and
he has a pompadour.
Yeah,
a big pompadour that sticks out like 3 feet. A bad boy.
Well, Miah liked the bad boy.
He had a Vespa.
And they decided, let's make music together and other things.
But yeah, you see, that's the things we grew up with. So if where all this trailed off from was the fact, I also wanted to point out that we do see LM.C that way. We are attracted to them, and we do find them beautiful, and we find them alluring.
Beautiful.
We find them alluring, in there is this sort of Fabio on the romance novel kind of feel to how we like Visual K.
Yeah,
just because that's what we grew up with. It's no disrespect to them or their families or anything like that.
They're amazing artists. And
you take a guy like Miyavi, he's...
Oh, Miyavi. You don't know how many times I've wanted to fantasize over him in the past.
He's beautiful, he's alluring, he's all this. 24 hours a day, he's on Instagram posting pictures of his wife and daughters.
Yeah.
So,
And he could have literally, experimented with guys. You never know. How do you know his personal past?
I never thought of it. No, but that's the thing. That's the fun part about the characters is that you can do that, and that's why fan service exists.
I still love Miyavi.
People of J-Rockers sharing candy canes during Christmas and stuff, and it's
I still love that one part where before Miah was with IG and he performed with Miyavi. I still love when they, in the middle of their song, they just go over and they share that kiss together, and yeah,
that's fancy. See, that's
Miah initiated it too.
The thing is that it's looked down upon nowadays because it's seen as queer baiting, which is a very frowned upon thing in Western culture right now. It's up there with cancel culture, that it's fake and they're trying to get money off of people by fetishizing gay people, and they're not really gay, and you know, I can understand that. I can. But as a gay man, it never cost me a penny, and it never cost me emotion. It never made me say, finally someone like me, or could I actually be with Miyavi someday, or something. Yeah, I never did that. Not shaming anybody who ever did, you know, feel that way, but, you know,
not in a million years would Miah and IG probably ever want to be with me romantically, and I understand that. But the fact that they acknowledged me, they were nice to me, they love the fact that I adore them, and took the time out of their busy schedule to smile at me and say hello and you know, is everything.
Yeah.
That is enough.
And, you know, that's something that can, for anybody who says that it's wrong to lust after these people and to be fans of and to want the VIP experience and all that. It's done every day.
Yeah.
Every day that you are a fan of a sports star, every day that you're a fan of an actress, every day that you're a fan of anything or want to give your money to anything because you like the product and it makes you happy, I feel that it's valid. I do. I feel that it's very valid.
And they know that, too. They know going to these meetings that obviously there's going to be people there that are in love with them.
I highly doubt Miah is wringing his fists saying, like, oh, we're going to take all these little girls' money. We're going to take all these gay boys' money and make them think they can have us. We don't care about them at all. And then
he spoke so positively about our family that we've built.
Why would they go out of their way to put on such a damn good show?
Oh my god, and I loved his solo during Double Dragon. When he dropped the tambourine, to make up for it, he did that very nice pose during his solo, and the crowd went crazy over that, me included. He just looked exquisitely sexy there.
You can half-ass anything if you don't care enough about it, and like, there's just no faking wanting to give people their money's worth. And you know, it's a weird ass juxtaposition of it, but I work in retail and I know about this uncontrollable pride that you have in yourself just as a person who knows that your quality shows in the quality of the things that you give people. And every day I could half-ass my job. I really could. There's a ton of people around me who half-ass their job. I don't, because I can't. I can't do it. I know these people spend money on my product. I know these people feed their family on my product, and I can't do that. I just can't, and that shows, I know it may be braggadocious, but that shows a quality in someone if they can do that. And again, I've seen people half-ass things in the music industry. I've seen it. I've seen people who need backing tracks to everything. They don't really sing. They don't really perform. There's a video of frickin' Justin Bieber puking on stage, and his voice just keeps on singing, doesn't it? And there's no quality in a lot of things. And they could have done everything on playback if they wanted to, and they didn't. They did everything so live that there were technical problems. Yeah. Like, think about it that way.
That's how you know that they were doing everything legitimately.
Yeah.
The only thing that was on playback was just like, you know, synthesizer things that they cannot do.
Synthesizer and bass, and that was it.
Because IG is the guitarist, and Miah was using his voice. I know he was, because I was right there. I know when someone is singing, when someone isn't.
You could hear his voice over the mic. That's how close we were.
Yes.
I could hear the strum of strings. I was so close. So.
And I can hear the drummer just fine, too. And I liked their drummer. He was nice to look at. I mean, I love Miah on IG, but his drummer was nice too.
Yeah. If they ever perform again, I'm gonna get in contact with their producer. Say, hey, if you need a bassist, I'll do it this time. I'll do it for you.
I guess that means we'd move to Japan, which...
No, I mean if they ever come to America, I'll be their bassist for the night.
But what if they like you so much and they want you to stay with the band?
I'll be like, sorry, hon, gotta go.
I'm coming with you to Japan.
But yeah, it made you feel like a fan again is the thing. Because
yes.
I think it was probably around 2014, 2015, around the time Tumblr was getting really popular, and you started discovering this bitterness amongst Visual K fans. You started discovering the self-loathing kind of attitude.
I did not like Tumblr. I had to leave it because of how people were on there.
And it kind of did poison my feelings as a fan. It really did, because it wasn't like that with any other fandom. Like, metalheads are still just as dicky little ass wipes with the brains of 10-year-olds. I'm a metalhead, so I can say that. As ever. You know, rap fans are still as vapid and as, shallow as ever. Pop fans, ditto. And Visual K fans, for some reason, in comparison, as I mentioned, from the MySpace days to the Tumblr days, became these very bitter, self-loathing people who would go out of their way to insult somebody that they apparently care so much about.
And we're not speaking for every single one of them.
No, not at all.
We actually met some really nice fans that were there with us.
And doesn't that prove something? It's the vocal minority is all that was poisoning my thoughts on it. And it made me feel like, God, am I like the last Western Visual K fan? Like, do all these girls hate Visual K? And I wasn't. It's just a vocal minority that likes to talk shit on the internet, as always.
That's I first felt this feeling when I first went to a convention, but you know how, like, I felt happy that I could actually be around, other people that liked something that I liked, and I didn't feel as alone in it. Mm-hmm. I felt it even more going to this con, because you even said, like, certain things that you like, you actually saw. And can we just mention that we saw probably at least 100 times more male cosplayers at this convention that were not afraid to cross-dress.
So many cosplayers.
And then that's not saying that they half-assed it. They went and did all the details.
It wasn't a joke. They weren't just big hairy guys being, I'm a big fat hairy guy wearing a belly shirt. These guys
shaved their legs, they put on makeup, and I loved that.
Like, there was a time we would go to a con and you would be the only male crossplayer.
Yeah, and
like, there was a time, and I don't know if it's a regional thing, especially considering Anime Week in Atlanta.
A bigger city, and how much
it is a mecca.
Also mention how much we liked Atlanta too.
Yeah, it is great. It's an okay city. We got to see the good parts during good times.
Yeah, every city's got its bad parts, but yeah.
But AWA is kind of a mecca in that a bunch of people all gather to it from different places, so that could have something to do with it. And the majority of the cons we've been to are just Carolina-based. Like, nobody from Florida is going to say, I'm going to HoshiCon, Mm-hmm. Like, that's just how it is.
And HoshiCon's not around anymore either.
And that's why I said HoshiCon, because I didn't want to besmirch any other places. But, yeah, it's like, I don't know if it is a sign of the times. I don't know if it is just a more open-minded area. I don't know if it's just that there's more people. A majority thing. Mm-hmm. Or a, statistical thing. But yes, there were so many cross players and so many same-sex couples, too. A lot of same-sex couples and a lot of just...
We were not the only ones for once.
It felt very, very different. It felt like metropolitan. It felt metropolitan for sure. And I've been in moments where I've been to gay clubs, so I've been around nothing but gay people and nothing but trans people and nothing but bisexual people, and it had a feeling like that, but it wasn't about a party. It was literally something that, again, I'm completely blighted by the vocal minority. There have been so many times I've been a bitter gay person in the sense that nobody's like me. I'm gay, and even gay people hate this. There's no gay metalheads. There's no gay anime fans. There's no gay this and that.
I have also felt that there's no other gay boy around my age that loves Connie Francis.
This was me realizing, God, this isn't true. It's not true.
Yeah.
It's just a vocal minority that's convinced me that all gay people are like, ew, you like Pokemon, ew, you like anime, ew, you like heavy metal. And then you go to a place like this and it's nothing but anime fans, and it's nothing but gay and lesbian and trans anime fans, and you're like,
I'd say a majority of people there were either gay or bisexual.
And it's just like, man, like I've been in the dark all these years. I've been in the dark all these years. That they've always been there. They've always been there. They're just not.
Yeah.
They're just not loudmouths. They don't sit around talking, I'm a gay geek. I'm a gay guy who loves honor. I'm a gay guy who loves metal. They don't need to do it.
I actually looked over at Miah and said, why don't we move to Atlanta?
I was like, we'll have to see what the music scene is like. And apparently the music scene is okay. I don't think I could ever get used to the traffic. But
the traffic was an issue, I noticed. I don't know if it was just the times of day or the events going on.
It was bad.
Well, Pittsburgh traffic is a clusterfuck.
I was in Pittsburgh traffic a few times, but I think I got lucky. Those few times. But parking was bad too. I won't get into that, but yeah. And we weren't the only people who did not like the parking this year. But somebody did also mention, like, that happens every year. Every year the parking's terrible, so it's a rite of passage in a way. If you experience bad parking at AWA, you're part of the club.
At least, and one thing I noticed about with the area where they were holding it, there were like 5 different parking garages. Mm-hmm. And one of them refused to service people for the convention.
Yeah, some were closed, some were open, some charged $10 a day, some charged $20 a day. We ended up paying probably altogether $70 in parking over the last 4 days. The 4 days we were there, we paid about $70 in parking.
Yeah, but it was a minor thing to see what we got to see.
And that's another thing I mentioned earlier about, it's part of, I work for my money, so I want my money's worth. At the same time, I'm not a cheapskate. If I'm going to be on vacation and I'm wanting to see a band that I love and I may not be able to see anytime soon again, I'm going to spend my money. I don't care. I'll spend my money.
And not to mention that, but also this con had the biggest dealer's room ever. The shopping area. Mm-hmm. That was amazing to see. We got to see a lot of stuff that we really loved, and I probably would have bought more, but I think what we did bring home was enough.
Yeah, we did okay.
I got some nice stuff. I got some a lot of really nice anime figures, which to add to my collection, and anime PVC figures, official ones that are brought from Japan. I got my first Hanya mask. The Hanya is often known as the female Oni. They are part of Japanese culture, and I could go into a whole thing about that, but it would take a long time to explain. But and it lights up too. Sadie doesn't like it. Sadie does not like... She'll stare at it when it's lit, but she doesn't like to get close to it. She'll smack it.
It makes a buzzing noise. So
I think it's just the lighting that goes through it.
that was on our third day. So
Mhm.
let's finish the concert.
Yes, yeah.
Concert's over. Great experience. We slowly shuffle out, not in a line or anything. We just go at our own pace in this
We're in one
smoky,
of the pictures.
spacey. You can put it in the video if you want.
You'll have to give me the picture.
It's easy to find. It's on IG's Twitter.
Okay.
But we're in this smoky, light, dark-filled auditorium, slowly walking out. And then we sit down on some couches outside in the hotel, or in the hotel area of the lobby, and we just sat there and we just kind of talked about like how it was and what we felt and everything. And
Went and ate some Asian food right after that.
yeah, we had Chinese food.
Which I would have preferred Japanese, but the Chinese place was right there and it smelled good and we just got it.
We hadn't eaten.
We still might go to like Tsubaki or something.
We might.
A ramen place in town. We might.
But that was our night. We were really tired and we were like, all right, let's head out. Was there one last autograph session, right? Yeah, there was. There was an autograph session afterwards.
Yes, there was an autograph session
Yeah.
afterwards. They needed a little bit of time to kind of prepare for it, so it was just about, I'd say, half an hour to an hour
Mhm.
later. And
Same room as the Halloween meetup. And we just all shuffled in. This time they had a table in it
Mhm.
that they were sitting behind. And that's when IG shook my hand.
yes,
And we were able to buy a bag.
that was the first autograph session, by the way.
Yeah,
we actually had two because we were VIP.
Yeah. We got we got a bag, we got a we didn't get the picture that day, did we?
No, the poster, you mean?
Yeah, the
No, that
poster.
was the day after
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
When we went to the dealer's room, I believe.
No, that was
No,
the third day.
that was the last day.
It had to have been the third.
No,
was
the third day was about shopping.
Third day was about shopping in a VIP.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
We went for the VIP. Okay, so that was the concert night. We got autographs, got to meet LM.C right off the stage, and again, I got to say thank you and everything, and it was a great show. We
Yeah.
really enjoyed it.
I told them that I had wanted to see them for a long time, and I still remember Miah gave me his dimple smile that he always has, and he told me arigato. Mm.
So that's when we headed out and then started the third day. So the third day, this time the big VIP meeting is downstairs inside of a much bigger meeting area. And we stood out there forever and ever, longest time. And while we were sitting there, Miah and IG walked by. They
Yes.
actually walked by, and I
Yes.
waited and I said, "Hi, Miah," and he just waited. Oh.
Yeah, they waved to us and nodded to us. They actually walked by in the hallway, and the thing is, we were standing in line just looking at other cosplays, and I thought it was cosplays at first, and I was like, no, wait a minute, that's our boys right there.
Yeah. But I like that, like, and the same thing happened with me when I met Dragon Force.
Yeah,
My
you
favorite
told me
band.
you met one of the members before the concert, right?
Not only did well, it was much more fan-oriented when I met the lead singer, but the guitarist, when I met Sam Totman, it was like that, where he was just walking by eating a Subway sandwich. And I just went, "Hi, Sam." And he went, "Hey." He just kept walking. He was on the phone. I just said, "Hi, Sam." And he's like, "Hi." And he walked by. And that was it. But when I met the lead singer, it was a lot more fan-oriented. So, I had been standing there maybe about 10 minutes in front of the building in the cold. And he walked out, and I was like, he checked the front door, and he's like, "This thing locked?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, man." And as he started walking away, I said, "Are you ZP Third? are you the lead singer? He said, yeah, man. I was like, holy shit. And he's like, can I take a picture with you? He's like, yeah, man. And I remember my hands were shaking. And I was, sorry, I'm nervous. He said, oh, there's no need for that shit, man. And he took the picture of me, the one that I've put everywhere over the last 10 years. And he was... it was basic conversation, like, have a nice day, hope to see you at the show tonight and all this. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to be out here all day waiting. And he just yelled at me, you sorry motherfucker. He walked away. And that, I think they really appreciated that too, because they handed me a pic and everything before the show, and they made sure I was in front and center for the show and everything. And they were very kind to me that night. But it was like that when they walked by, just a very casual, like, yeah, we're not crazy fans, I promise. Just, hi, how's it going?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's you. Hey, remember me from last night? I was in the front row, you know?
Yeah. I do believe with each meeting they did remember us.
Yes. For the night of the concert, we weren't in cosplay. For this day, we were not in cosplay either, but we were kind of in our signature colors. We were in black and white and black and purple, which is kind of our signature colors, I guess. And I think we looked pretty good. We got compliments several times.
Yeah, actually. Not only did people love our cosplays, which I'm glad that, because I was nervous that for my Konkuro cosplay, which I wore the last day, I thought maybe people wouldn't like the fact that I didn't have the brown contacts in, because lately my eyes are just refusing contacts.
Yeah.
But they didn't care at all. I had one girl run up to me, and I thought she was going to fucking tackle me to the ground. She's like, oh, it's Konkuro.
Yeah.
But yeah, they loved our cosplays, but they also loved our natural clothing, too.
So that was our second photo op day. So we got to sit betwixt them again, and I got to make uncomfortable eye contact with Miah again. And because of that first day, I just swore I wasn't going to screw up this time. I'm going to stare daggers into him if I have to. And
I made IG chuckle this time, and I made Miah giggle.
how so?
Because the second little checky photo shoot I did with them, we were in our natural clothes, and I sat down with them, and I this time I was less nervous, but I as soon as they took the picture, I thanked both of them, and I told them it was at least I think I told them that I loved seeing them again, and I started to walk away, and then they're like, but wait, don't you want your picture? And I came back over, and they handed me the little checky picture, and they chuckled at me, and
that day as well, a security guard lady said, oh, I love your piercings, like that.
Yes,
because I had my spikes in. So that day as well, we went shopping, but they were also doing an autograph session in the buyer's area.
Yeah.
So we waited a few hours, we did some shopping, got all the stuff we eventually bought. While we were in line for the VIP photo shoot, we were given these posters, and we decided...
And free shirts.
And free shirts, yes.
That say LM.C VIP on them.
Yeah. And they are incredibly large, and I don't know how we're going to fit in.
I don't care how large the dang shirt is. That we made a kind of a joke with that. Like, did they think that all their American fans were larger or something?
I think, you know what it probably is? They took into consideration that the majority of their fans are women, and they need boob room. And
but I don't care how large it is. I'll wear it.
But we were given these posters and shirts, and here's something. I know it may not be my place to say it because it's somebody else's story, but I just want to share this because anybody who thinks that these bands are just like any other band where they're just selfish and they're in it for money and they're doing all this for the ops and the fame, or not even fame, for the money, for the VIP money. Like, there was a girl there who didn't make it to the Halloween show.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't make it to the Halloween VIP, where we got to take pictures with them in costume. She got called to the side. They called her name. So-and-so, are you here? And she was like, yes, that's me. They took her to the side, and they talked to her a little bit. Blah, 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 blah. And she walks back to the line. And the lady who's running the promoter side of it for the band, she comes back and hands her a checkie with just IG and Miah in it.
Now, yeah.
You cannot tell me that this band does not care about their fans.
By the way, everybody, hardly anybody else in the entire world owns a checkie of just Miah and LM.C. Miah and IG, because they really don't do single ones.
If you have one, please tell me, because
Yeah.
I have never, and I'm a collector, I collect checkies.
Yeah.
I have never found a lone Miah IG checkie in my life.
I would bet that single checkie they did right there.
When they heard, like, she's not going to make it, oh, we need to do one for her.
Yeah, right now. And they
so
did it right
if she
then.
shows up, we can give it to her. Who does that? What band that doesn't care, wants money from these greedy little Americans and their parents' money? They'll spend money on anything if we convince them. Why would they need to do that? They don't need to do it, but they did it because they love their fans. And this girl broke down and she wept, and it made me want to weep, because this doesn't happen. This does not happen.
No, it does not happen.
Do you think any K-pop band has ever done this? Sorry, I don't want to pick on. Do you think any band that doesn't care about their fans would do it? They wouldn't. They got their money. We got your money.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to give you anything. We can save money and not take a damn picture. Those things cost money. They didn't need to do it, and they did it. So that's one thing that took place during that. But you know, that's something that you can only say, and nobody will ever believe you. But that's okay, because
that's fine, because several other people witnessed it too. So
it's here's the thing: it's our band.
Yeah.
Is the thing. People don't get it. They don't get, like, I've never even heard of this band. What does this matter? And
that's fine.
it almost doesn't matter when you know that something like this exists. Like a band this nice and caring about its fans actually exists.
I loved when, the first time we all met them, the first checkie, and like some of the girls said, it was so nice that when we walked in, they're like, oh my God, you are real.
Yeah, oh, you're real. You're real.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's something that, like, it wouldn't matter if I even cared about LM.C. It wouldn't matter if they were gorgeous. It wouldn't matter if they even made music that I liked. If I heard Justin Bieber did this here's the thing. I don't really like, what's her name? The Haitian lady. Rihanna. I don't care for her music. I don't care for it.
I like only a few songs, and that's it.
I don't care for her voice. Her voice sounds not good to me.
Yeah.
I don't like her music. I don't like the genre of music she makes. She loves her fans. She loves her fans, and she takes care of her fans.
Mm-hmm.
And I admire that so much more than if I were to hear that Metallica were to treat their fans like shit. And they don't, but I would...
Or even Lady Gaga.
Yeah, or even Lady Gaga.
Which, I think she cares about her fans, but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah. But we're not trying to single out certain people right now.
But, like, that's... If I had known that LM.C did this for their fans, like, that's a good band. Mm-hmm. That is a good band. And that is a band that knows that there's no money and there's no ounce of success in treating people like shit once you've got it. Once you've got money and success, there's only one way to go, and that's down. And the only way you can stay on top is if you legitimately care about the people that got you there, mm-hmm. so that they can continue to hold you up. And that's exactly what they did. So, anyway, we did our shopping, went to the autograph session, and the poster they gave me, they gave both of us. It was the same poster. It was a promo poster for the for their album, and Future Sensation. Yeah, and for some reason, the print they gave me, Miah's face was scratched. Like they had a little a scratch mark on his face.
I love the result of this, though. This, I swear, I think possibly Miah had a little crush on you, or at least had a little crush on your appearance.
So, I'm
fine with it.
I'm in my black and purple, and I'm wearing like my purple leopard pants, and I have a foxtail and bullet belt and all this. You know, it's what I wear. I know I'm a weirdo, but I have my snakebite piercings on my lip, and there are these big long purple spikes. Mm-hmm. They're hard to find. I used to have bigger ones, but I can't find them anywhere anymore. Anything purple is hard to find, but
it's a hard color to produce.
I hear him say sharp like that, and what? And I look at his security guard there, and he points to his lips. And he goes, "Your piercing." And I was like, "Oh yes, my piercings." And Miah goes, "I love those. They're so sharp." I said, "Yes, thank you. They're very sharp." And I guess I was blushing or something. I don't know. But
I'm sure.
I hand him the poster, and I said, "They scratched your face." He goes, "Oh no, here." And then he drew little cat ears and whiskers on his face and autographed it.
So one of the posters, we have a Neko Miah.
Yeah, for some reason. So,
which is really cute, though. He drew it on there himself.
Did another thank you and another bow and walked away. And I noticed that the whole VIP session was standing to the side still, just watching. Like they had gotten their autographs and they were just standing there watching.
Yeah.
And
well, that's the way it is, though. Once you get done seeing them, all you can do is just stand there and watch them because you just want to keep looking at them.
We're just going to stare at you for the rest of this time. We paid money for this, so you better let us stare at the side of your head for about 30 minutes. So we did a few more things, but that was about the end of our day there.
And you know what? Actually, that was the third day, right?
Yeah, that was the third day.
Before we go on to the fourth day, I think I want to go on a song break real quick.
Okay.
Because we haven't done one at all, because we've been just talking about our entire trip in great detail. How are we going on the time? Everything good?
We're doing good. We got about 30 minutes. Then I gotta switch it over.
All right. On the music, I'm going to be featuring LM.C. And if you don't hear any music, if it just... well, you probably won't hear this part, actually. We'll just keep right on going, because that means that YouTube didn't allow it. But I take you now to Domino Radio. I'm going to feature music from the band that we've been talking about and enjoying.
じゃない生み出せ Game of Lifeしらけた顔でぐるりと回り続ける近頃映画みたいに天才小さいマジ大問題なぜか急に寂しくなる In my bed 地の売りなされど日はまた昇り繰り返す老いも若きも男も女もその間の愛し合って憎しみ合って存在証明それもいいんじゃない追い風に煽られてつまずく日もあるだろうボイボイいつの日か叶うはずなんて慰めのフレーズはごめんなライバルに差をつけろ裏技使い倒して勝ち逃げ Game of Life Game of Life Game of Life
All right, we are now back with About an Hour with Domino, as it is to be known now.
It has been over an hour, so that title works.
The music you just heard was the song Game of Life by LM.C. Now, Miah. Miah. Do you want to move on to the fourth day?
So the fourth day, we get there nice and early. Begins the one majorly frustrating part about all of this. We'd been dealing with the schedule for the last 3 days, just being completely wonky, completely having to go word of mouth with everything, everyone saying something different, everybody in just being lucky enough to show up just in time for all of our VIP sessions. The very last thing was going to be a raffle, where if you had spent over $100 at their table, which we did, on any merchandise, you got a certain amount of tickets, and you were entered into a raffle to win an autograph of anything you want from LM.C, and you get to get the set list, a set list that was on the stage during their performance, and it would be autographed as well, and you got a gigantic banner that was over the sales table, autographed by them as well. And we missed it because information couldn't get anything together about where the VIP was being held.
Yeah.
And the only reason that any of the VIP holders knew where it was because they were on Twitter or Discord before that, and the promoter put out a tweet or a message saying, hey, we're holding it here, come on over. And everybody went over, and we missed it because information said, oh, it's going to be held in the same place the the Q&A session is going to be held, and it
Which
wasn't.
is the last thing that LMC was going to do for the entire trip.
We stood there for about an hour, and we're like, where the hell is everybody? And everybody showed up, and the raffle had been done, and a girl showed up. She had her autograph she had all the stuff. She had the set list. I guess she got the banner later. She had the autographs tattooed on her arm, or written on her arm, and she was talking about she's going to get them tattooed and stuff. She already had an LMC logo tattooed, so she was very dedicated. So she deserved it. She deserved it. I'd have no problem in the world with her winning that raffle.
I might
really
actually
glad.
get an LMC tattoo, by
It's
the way.
a good logo. It's a very good logo.
I've always enjoyed their logo very much. The bunny ears.
And I love logos is the thing. I have a tendency to critique logos a lot. Even, I don't care if it's on the side of a carton of milk. If it's a bad logo, I will go, this is what they should have done. They should have done that, or they should have done that.
When you look at LMC's
So-
logo, you know what it is, no
Yeah.
matter what.
Yeah, I love logos. But, yeah, I was in a daze for a good 20 minutes, just standing in line. I was fuming. Like, not only was I in Orochimaru makeup this day, by the way,
And I was Kankuro this
yes,
day,
we were
too.
cosplaying this day, and we'd been stopped about 20 times already and had pictures taken.
These two cosplays, I think, were our most popular this time.
I'm apparently several women's husbands, so, but I was fuming. I was so mad I could feel myself heating up. Like, I could feel my makeup about to run. I was so angry. I wanted to complain. I wanted to find somebody on the crew and complain, but
Even the
I
other
really-
girl in the line said that it was very stupid how they redirected us like that.
I calmed myself down. I really did. I was just like, hey, it wasn't our numbers anyway. If they had called our numbers, and from what I heard the girl say, like, there wasn't any other numbers drawn but hers, we wouldn't have won anyway, and it went to somebody who really deserved it. So I calmed myself down, but I was very angry. And I guess if it ever comes down to it again and we ever do a VIP like this again, I'm going to have to invest time in Twitter, in Discord, in all of that to be more part of the group. And, like, I know I definitely felt a bit of ostracization from the group. I felt a little bit of it. But, you know, it was nobody's fault but my own, because I should have stepped in a little bit more. I should have talked a little bit more, but, like, in the end, it cost me, like, one little part of the VIP that not everybody got to experience anyway. Even other people in the VIP didn't get to experience it.
Yeah, because they didn't direct them to the right place,
E-
so
either-
not everybody got there.
Either they didn't direct it or they never bought $100 worth of stuff from the table, so they
Yeah.
couldn't participate anyway.
Which the table itself in the dealer's room was even hard to find, because they didn't tell anybody where it was.
Yeah, it
that
wasn't-
that
it
was
wasn't
not
marked.
LMC's fault. That everything that we're kind of complaining about was the director of the con's fault.
They shouldn't have relied on that app. That's just all there is to it.
Which they eventually just shut down anyway and gave
Yeah.
everybody just a paper.
They just shut it
schedule.
down. It never worked. And I know for a fact a lot of people were saying, like, where is the where is the feedback forum, because we need to talk about this. Do not use this app ever again. Please don't ever. If anybody's listening to this who runs the con, don't use an app. Don't use an app, especially one if you don't know if it's sturdy enough.
Yeah.
Just do it the old-fashioned way. Use a forum. Send out a mailer. Anything.
I still very
Carrier
much-
pigeon.
carrier pigeon. A carrier pidgey. I still very much enjoyed going to your con, but you need to keep it under order, keep it directed right. And I'm not even complaining to the people in information who tried to help us, because they even admitted we don't know everything because they're not telling us.
Yeah.
So if you're having your information people telling people of the con that, then you have a problem.
Mhm. But we stood in line for about 2 hours again and got into the last Q&A, and it was running late, and they were like, it's okay though, because they're going to let us go as long as we want. And so this was another big conversation room, a big not an auditorium, but it was a meeting room, big one. And VIPs were up front, regular congoers in the back. So this was for everyone. This Q&A was for everyone. LM.C shows up. They're out of costume. They're in street clothes. They have sunglasses on because no makeup. They have no makeup on.
Mm-hmm.
And they have their translators, and they, just talk about basic things like what they felt about the show, what they felt about the con, and then they lined everyone up for Q&A. And it was held like, I forgot the term for it. It's not city council. They put a microphone in the front of the audience, and you could form a line and walk up to it and ask a question.
I wanted to ask a question, but I couldn't. My mind was blank while they were doing the line, and I thought of one right when they said, okay, no more people. We're going to finish up this line.
Yeah.
They actually wanted everyone to just sit down, but Miah said, no, let's finish up the line.
Yeah, he said rapid fire. Rapid fire.
Yeah.
And so I'm the second person in line. I would have been the first, but I let a girl stand in front of me, probably because I was just, shy, and I wanted to kind of think about my question a little bit more, how I was going to word it. And everybody around me was chuckling because they're just Orochimaru, because I'm dressed like Orochimaru.
Well, I was just like Konkoro, so they saw we were in cosplay.
But the girl asked her question. I don't even remember what it was. But I walk up and ask my question. And it was a very basic question. Maybe I was too jovial with it. Maybe I was too rehearsed sounding with it. But I asked, with the rousing success of last night's show, seeing how many people showed up, do you think that there is hope for a United States tour of LM.C? And some people were like, oh, like, good question. And everybody kind of claps their hands.
Mm-hmm.
And the main thing I remember is that the translators absolutely shit their pants at the sound of that question. They covered their face. They rolled their eyes like, oh my God, I can't believe he asked that question.
You know why they did that, hon? Because it's more work for them.
Maybe.
But that's their job.
I have this sort of sense that Miah or anybody was like, I hope nobody wants us to go on tour because I don't want to tour this frickin' place. Yeah, or what, I don't know. But
I don't think Miah feels that way.
I know.
Don't, because for how much he cares about his fans.
It just made my self-consciousness just blow up. It felt terrible after that. But they were cute, and they were jovial about it, and they were like, America's so big, though. I don't know if we could, and, would you come? Would all of you come? And everybody applauded, yes, we would follow you. We'd follow you all across America if you did. And everybody was like, shouting, yeah, we'd road trip and everything. And
there you go. Honestly, you proved that everybody wants it. And so who cares what the translators thought?
Miah said, we'll see. Anything can happen. And
And actually that delved into the questions like, what songs would they ever perform again live and stuff. So honestly, people's questions kind of stemmed off of yours.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Miah said that he wanted to do a video for his song Dystopia.
Mm-hmm. But it would cost too much money.
Yeah. But then IG's answer, he wanted to do one too of one of their slower songs, and he said, and it will cost money and it will be big, and he wants it to be big. So he was kind of contradicting Miah.
And Also, when I walked up to the microphone, didn't you say Miah was like, you? Like that? Like,
yeah,
because I was dressed like Orochimaru.
He just kind of looked at you and he was like, you?
I was...
Obviously because he knew who you were supposed to be.
I guess.
He was just playing with you. He was like, so essentially he was addressing the character Orochimaru, who is a villain, so...
Yeah. So they did their whole Q&A panel and everything, and answered a lot of interesting questions, everything from the very simple, like, what do tattoos mean, what's your favorite kanji, things like that. They also answered, like, what does the name mean, how did you guys meet, all this favorite childhood memories.
My question, when I thought of it, I was going to ask them, first I was going to tell them how much they meant to me and how much their music meant to me. And I was going to ask them, where's your favorite place in Japan that you like to visit or travel to? Because I thought that would be interesting. Nobody asked anything like that. Where do they like to go for leisure? Next time.
Next time I'll know better.
Oh, I will see them again. I don't care.
But throughout all of this, Miah, I believe, said the most poignant thing of all of it, and it was something that, like, again, I had felt during that week, even though there was a point in time where I did feel out of place, and I did feel like I wasn't a part of the group, and I wasn't a part of the fandom. I felt like my fandom was, or me being a fan was questioned at one point, and just my paranoia and just my self-consciousness.
I think you were very much included, hon, especially when the one girl came up and asked, how was your experience and everything.
But
you're a part of everything.
But, Miah said, like, his favorite part about LM.C is just that we all get to be together, and we're all brought together from all over the world. There were people there from Canada, there were people there from Russia, there were people there from Japan, there were people there from North Carolina, us. All just brought together in the same room. So many millions of years on this earth, and so many millions of years more to come, and we're all alive at the same time. We get to be alive at the same time as Miah and IG. We get to be alive at the same time as that girl who got her checky. We get to be alive at the same time as, all the fans inside of that room. We all get to share the same world together. And it's something that brought us all together under one little roof in this little room for one day. And it's something to appreciate and something to really admire. And it's very cool that someone who doesn't speak English, and, he has to speak through a translator, he can say all of that, and it still means something. It's not lost in translation. It's not something that loses its poignancy. You know what he's talking about. You know that he cares, and you know that LM.C cares, and it's not about money. It's not about VIP passes. It's not about autographs. It's not about checkies. That it's about all of us who didn't know each other all coming together for these two boys who made music that made us happy. And sharing it all together. And that's something that I can only hope other bands can do in the future. And, that's one of the reasons that I think I admire LM.C more than ever now. I always loved LM.C. I always loved
I'm glad.
I always loved their music when they were first introduced to me. And you can only go by what you see in interviews. And you can only be like, well, they're another VK band, shooting their spiel, shooting their gimmick. The same way I highly doubt Kamijo goes around talking like a philosopher and, so the rose and stuff. It's like, he doesn't talk like, it's the gimmick.
Yeah.
Anytime you hear Miah and IG talking about the fans and talking about the love of the music and the love of the band and the love of creating beautiful costumes and stories, they're telling the truth. They're not a character. They're not in character.
There was that one girl in the line that said, "You just made me into a fan 2 days ago."
Yes.
And you welcomed her in and everything, and
yes, he said welcome.
yeah. He was pleased that he was able to make a new fan. Yeah, even the cameraman said that he was going to listen to him more often. I loved when Miah first walks out of the stage and he sees the cameraman and he's so amused by him because, okay, he's this overweight boy who's cross-dressing as a cheerleader, and Miah was so amused by that. He kind of playfully picked on him the rest of the evening, but he liked having him there.
Yeah. But yeah, that was the last time we got to see them. We all gave them a standing ovation, and they walked out and waved goodbye, and Miah made it last. He kept looking behind and waving. Even when he was backstage, you could still see him waving. And that was it. We shuffled around a little bit more, took a bunch of more pictures with people, and by which, by the way, no pictures exist at all. Like,
usually we find pictures of us on the internet, on like people's blogs or even DeviantArt. Everybody must have just kept their pictures to themselves.
I guess we got stopped by about 35, 40 people, and they all took like 2 or 3 pictures each.
Yeah,
we got none fine. Back. We didn't see any around. So
it's fine. And I know that they liked them because they told us and they were pleased with the results. So
it doesn't matter that much to me. Again,
I don't mind posing for pictures because when I get into my characters that I cosplay, it's rewarding.
These were all old cosplays of mine. Anyway, you had 2 new ones.
Yeah, I did 2 new ones this time, and actually I already have plans for the next ones I want to do.
These 2 were old ones for me, so I wasn't as invested, and I will admit that. I was not nearly as invested in them. I mean, I put as much time and energy getting ready. I still wore the contacts.
Still got into the characters.
Yeah.
And they look good. You got recognized for Duke Devlin more so than ever.
If these were brand new cosplays and I had spent a ton of time and money on them, yeah, I think I'd be disappointed I didn't see pictures around, but I'm not. and because I will admit, this whole trip was for LM.C.
Yeah.
All of it for me was for LM.C.
And I'm going to be, I've already decided for my next con, I'm bringing Konkuro back out again because actually it's become one of my favorite cosplays to wear. I don't know why, I just, I kind of always wanted to cosplay him, but yeah. I mean, I still love my other cosplays too, but I'm doing him again. And I'm thinking possibly my other 2 new ones might be Train Hardnet and Hyakimaru. Or maybe even Denki from Academia. We'll see. I haven't completely decided on that, but yeah.
And that was the end of our con experience. We ended up going home and getting cleaned up, and we, or to the hotel, getting cleaned up, and we were out of there bright and early.
This con could have easily been the My Hero Academia con.
Holy crap.
And now I love this anime, but I have never seen so many people dressed up as Bakugo or Deku Midoriya in one place, ever.
I told you. Didn't I tell you?
Oh,
like,
and
you
Shoto Todoroki.
Yeah, you said, who am I going to see the most of this year? And I told you, this
Yeah.
guy.
Well,
This guy
it
right
almost
here.
was Shota Todoroki. It almost was. By the way, I bought a figure of him too, because I think he's a very cute boy. But the one I did see the most of actually ended up being was Deku, or Midoriya, as he's also known as.
Okay.
He's the one I saw the most of. It was almost Todoroki, though.
And you bought a Dakikamura.
I did. We got 2.
Oh, yeah, we got 2.
We got a Bakura Dakikamura, which I'm sure our friend Rachel would like. You can snuggle with him, Rachel, when you visit us. I promise. I bought a nearly naked Neko boy Dakikamura, so I can snuggle with it.
I was going to... They had a Felix and an Astolfo there, but I couldn't... I think they sold out of it. So I wasn't able to find
You
it.
got your Astolfo figure.
I did get an Astolfo figure because I love feminine males. So
He's a very beautiful character. He really is. Miah has his own anime collection.
I do.
I mean anime figure collection.
yes.
I have 7 to myself. Maya's, what you had, 3 or 4?
I have 4, yes.
Yeah.
Technically 5, but the other one's a little too small to be considered like a full figure.
Well, I have a few small ones too. I'd like to get a big one of Deidara, but I haven't found a big one yet.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no big ones of Konkuro either. There's only a few smaller ones,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of disappointing, but who knows, they may make one in the future.
But yeah, got a few nice things and didn't spend nearly as much money there as I thought we would. The majority of the money was spent on parking. So, and of course the initial VIP tickets and getting a room.
Yeah,
and
I almost got a kimono, but yeah.
I think we did all right. We had an okay haul.
Who knows, we might go to another con fairly soon. I introduced when TechoCon is, but
Mhm.
that's up to you if you want to.
We'll see. We'll see if they have any good guests, maybe. We'll see. But one thing's for sure, I would like very much to shoot for actually staying at the hotel that the con is going to take place at next time. It's just too much trouble driving down the highway now. And parking is always hell. And
I just hope that we'll be able to sleep. That's the only other thing.
that's the thing. If we're staying at the hotel, don't plan to sleep at all, because for something like this was a 24-hour con. It never closed down from the moment it opened to the moment it closed. There were cons going on, or there were panels going on at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I guess if it's not a 24-hour con, then
Yeah.
we'd find time to sleep.
Yeah, like if it was Ichiban, which is held at a hotel but has closing hours
Yeah.
and then opening hours, then yeah.
This is the first one I've ever been to that went 24 hours.
Yep, but we'll see if we ever go to one again. Yeah, but I would like to, but I would only do it if like you were up for the challenge to actually go all night and just go up to the room to nap real quick and then go back down. And
I'd have to see, because sometimes I can do that, and then other times I literally will get sick if I don't sleep.
and I have to consider that.
Yeah,
It's
it's whatever my body wants.
I can do it. I have done it, but if you can't, then there's no point in even attempting. But yeah, that was our LM.C experience at AWA.
Yes, something I'm never going to forget, and I've just been thinking about it a lot. I have been missing the con experience, but I love also bringing all of our stuff back home and being welcomed home by Sadie.
who misbehaved the whole time we were gone.
But she's been snuggling with us a lot lately.
Mhm.
I can tell that she missed us and wanted us to come back home. And I miss my kitty too.
Well, she'll be around us a lot longer now because I ain't got nothing planned for the next year.
I initially wanted to talk about a few things, a few movies we saw early in the year, but I think I'll save that for maybe another podcast. I mean, the year's not over. I am going to close out, though, this episode with another song of LM.C, and I'll let you listen to that, and that'll be the end of the show. So we'll say goodbye now. and I'll let you listen to LM.C on the way out. One of my favorites, actually, called Punky Heart.
Yeah, your namesake.
The first song I ever heard them play.
See you around.
Bye for now.
こぼれ落ちた値打ちのないガラス玉を拾い集めてダイヤのように抱えて笑う Never ending days 偽物なんて呼ばれてた誰一人見向きもしなかった僕らのストーリーどんな宝石よりも輝いてる目に見えない力を信じて走り出したたどり着く場所なんてどこでもいいさ小さな翼を広げて見上げるこの空は高すぎるけど飛ばない言い訳を並べてうつむいて歩くなんて僕らには似合わない受け入れるのも逆らうのも誰かのためなんかじゃないいびつなる糸に壊れたコード奏でて歌う We were stupid songsいつの間にか大人になっていつの間にかなくしてしまった置き去りのメロディーズその胸の奥で鳴り響いてる一人きりで泣いてる君が笑えるのならたとえ世界中を敵に回したっていいさ言葉にできない儚い想いは風になって消えてゆくけど飛ばない言い訳を並べて諦めて眠るなんて僕らには似合わない